divided crowd. And soon, we will know which way the pendulum swings. As you said, Tom, PaperX favored to start. Potential 2-0 with the Sunset pick. If it was a mistake for Sentinels, we don't want to see them start out slow here.
Yeah, and I think one of the most exciting things about this initial matchup is going to be that Jet battle. I think something that the clip that always springs to mind of his Jet is flying through the air on the A site and basically wiping out everybody with those blades. He is fierce on this map. And already, he's going to be the man taking contact, pushing right up towards these players. And actually, it's Patman and Divide. They are just taking these raw battles initially, and it is a slaughter. Round number 1 looking over already, and it will be flawless for PaperX.
Well, it looked like Sentinels going in the right direction. They had the troops for an immediate battle, but they have lost out, and Divide on the board very early with a triple. That's a little bit of momentum. Wind in the sails for PaperX. But for Sentinels, you can brush it off. A pistol loss, the way that it went down, maybe not so much. One man swinging in for so many beautiful stuff from Divide. And he's a player you don't want to see the fire lit under early on.
Yeah, I think that was one of the main things I really enjoyed for them when it came to Toronto, was the fact that that MVP was up for grabs for pretty much anybody all the way through that tournament. They had so much depth in terms of the individual brilliance. Now, the same can be said for both sides. Fast pace, and already a dink onto something. 3 Sheriffs actually invested in here for PaperX, so there is some danger here.
Yeah, there's definitely weaknesses, and these close-range fights, players flooding through that wall. The pistols all around, and Narrate with a double. He's given them a chance for Sentinels to break back so early. Would be a huge blow to PaperX. In terms of economic losses so far, they still have their 2 rifles.
Yeah.
That's the benefit of the 3 pistols, but a danger lurking. Zelsis dealt with, though. Jing clearing every corner, and the man who picked up 2 has got it to do again. But with a classic in his hand, 45 HP. The only thing going for him is that he has the spike.
He's got time to play with. 45 seconds on the clock. Both players have been spotted pushing together, so chances are, well, almost guaranteed there's nobody on the B site. Obviously, what this does mean is there's no opportunity to find any weapon. Even a Sheriff won't be possible.
30 seconds left.
And a bullet of that Guardian would be enough to put him down. In fact, it's going to be a solo swing. A little bit risky from Patman, but at this sort of range, wasn't too much of a problem. Extra credits earned, but still a ridiculous amount for Narrate to do.
Really important, though, that he swung early. They know that he's towards main. Such an open plan could put questions in your mind, but now Jing will be holding these smokes, waiting for the player to go running through, and the defuse is just stuck. Narrate thinking that they were trying to bait him into the open, but because they had that information from Patman, there was no need. And he'll go through to the next round. 2-0 for PaperX.
It's kind of unfortunate for Sentinels, because normally you'd look at a round like this, you go, okay, you've invested barely anything into it. You've got 3 kills in the plant. You go, okay, you probably caused some cost. But you haven't. They can easily buy back into those rifles if they want, keeping the 2 guns that they had. And at least, okay, you've got those sort of extra credits. But realistically, now already, actually, it's going to be something investing into that operator. Same as the pistol, early pressure, but this time Narrate has a drone.
Yeah, that annoying smoke. I've seen it cause many problems here on Icebox, but something staying aggressive with Patman by his side presents danger, and Narrate goes running right into it. The smoke that goes down in mid here, usually going to be blocking out a... Oh my goodness, the orb was up! Something's just picked seconds straight through it. Of all the rounds to come in with a play like this, Sentinels just investing their economy. They wanted to try to cause some questions on middle, smoke off a turret. Well, 5v3, a big, major uphill battle for the attackers now.
And because of this, a bit more passive from the majority, only really Forsaken in an aggressive position. But need to be cleared, has the support of Divide, and Zelsis maybe caught sleeping to the wheel, wasn't expecting to be swung from there. The paranoia goes to deal with him and doesn't manage to find a single kill. The only one where any damage has been done is where there was so much advantage in weaponry for PaperX. When it's been an equal playing field, the pistol in round number 3, they've both been flawless.
Yeah, that is not a good sign. And of course, the value of this op early with that pick was calculable. But the second, oh, he just caught an angle. as the orb went up. And then, of course, seeing that Defy was on that left side of the site, they try to pressure him, put that paranoia in, but they're not accounting for Forsaken. He hadn't got a chance to claim any scalps, but now he's got 2 on the board. Sentinels left with very weak weapons. They go for stingers across the board, and that's a big danger for something. He gets out of there, and look at the cover. It's beautiful. Jing up top. Forsaken going through the wall is risky, but he's got a taste for blood now, and he's eating good with a flawless round again for PaperX.
Yeah, this has been absurd. 3 out of 4 rounds have been flawless so far, and the real danger is the more this happens, the more confident PaperX will get. You already see that they had that sort of early stack up towards this A side, but they are just swinging through their own utility, playing around the smokes. You can see the jump up at the end to get into the opponent's smoke. They don't care what Sentinels are doing. They don't care what sort of counter may be coming in. They are confident in their own ability, and you can see why. Only 3 of them have died so far.
That is a ridiculous stat line to look at, for Sentinels at least. They did only have the stingers in the previous. The way they lost those fights, maybe they're not going to be too happy with. They haven't cleared out that smoke before. Okay. Now Jing will be dealt with at least. Maybe expecting the op to be here as they invade the smoke and play back, but it's still 2 rifles in play. Now, the element of surprise there for Divide, but he's been spotted by the drone. Nice shot, but he won't get out unscathed.
This definitely makes things a little bit tougher. Forsaken is in position. The push-up on the flank has already been happening, but Forsaken, realizing they're not planting, he's got to be very careful. He's already being flanked on Narrate with another high-impact round. He has nearly all of the kills for Sentinels thus far. But they still have 1 man to deal with. Narrate desperately low, but with the operator, it may not make a difference. And with this split of players, this is going to be very difficult for something to break.
Especially with the wall staying up for so long. He has no idea where these players can be, and a wraparound for Narrate grabs a 4th. He was the one putting up most of the deaths so far for PaperX with the classic in that 2nd round, and now adding 4 more to the tally. We need a little bit more from Sentinels from a well-rounded perspective. But Narrate online early is certainly the sign of life we needed to see here.
No chance. Yeah, it's a great round from him. I think the bait that was being sprayed out as well, just to give him that little bit of extra space from Bang. And after what was a very slow start to the match, the fact that he's now 6-3 and, well, yeah, 2 kills between the remaining players. They'll hope that maybe someone will be there to join him. Of course, for PaperX, you have that many flawless rounds, you have so many credits to play with. John QT, though, looking to take space. Patman under pressure.
Zelsa's already tagged up. Patman, yeah, surrounded here. He will finish Zelsis off. It's a headshot, so it doesn't even matter about the damage done earlier. The drop down of 1 player, but they don't know Forsaken and filled in the extra space. What? Patman, even on 36, is able for another, but a sneak coming up. He's got 1 more. The tube leaves Bang with an opportunity. Unfortunately, it's an opportunity to put a 1v5 on the board. He finds his first, but look at the firing squad awaiting this swing. Isolates the first battle, but then he is dealt with immediately, and PaperX 5-1, an immediate response to that round win from Sentinels, more so from Narrate.
Yeah, no, it's really just been him having that sort of individual prowess in a singular round, but this round was all about Patman. Like, just absurd individual skill, and then he gets another one. Like, this guy was on 36 HP before he even got a single frag, and now he just seems to be walking away with this. And it's what I was talking about, like, the depth of skill and ability on this PaperX side. It doesn't really matter who you walk into. You could see those struggles. I mentioned it already. Big fan of Kaplan. He's going to be given an opportunity early. I think a necessary one. And actually, considering how things have gone so far, maybe not as early as it could have been.
Yeah, maybe the call here is just everybody take a leaf out of Narrate's book. He seems to be the only one firing back right now. And even there for Bang, you know, you look at how many flawless rounds out of the rounds we've seen so far are there for PaperX. What is it, 3? And then a 1v5 is where they start to show up. It's too late, it's too slow. And we talked about this. You mentioned it. PaperX, no slouches coming into that 2nd map. And yes, we can believe Sentinels, counterplay, tape, all of that conversation. But if they bomb out of this map, it's going to be much harder to believe in that bounce back.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be difficult to firstly, get yourselves back on the horse, but I think more importantly, Paperix, when they're confident and informed, well, we've already seen it. They just won the last event.
Yep. They lift trophies.
That's all you really need to know. Something, guess what? He's making the same push once again, and guess what? He's found the opener once again. It's that same angle. They're putting the smoke, or they have been, to deny him that space. At least if he's playing up above. But he's just not been playing up above. He's been happy to push and pressure. Now, at least they have managed to get an additional orb for Zekken. They can try and utilize that Blade Storm, but something is not shying away from this fight.
And there's the danger!
No
he
way.
wins it! 25 HP, no! Almost got another! And even then, that's numbers equalized and then extended with Patman showing up yet again. Zelsis and Narate have to fight their way back in. Narate's been so reliable so far. But even still, he's down to 30 HP. Patman's still drawing breath. That orb puts him to one, not much of a difference made. And with Divide falling though, there is a real chance for Sentinels to bounce back in this unlikely round. It falls to Patman in the 1v1. He has enough bullets, and he finds Zelsis just in time. This one, much closer, much better from Sentinels coming out of the pause, but not quite enough.
Yeah, this is the sort of crazy thing about this guy. It's like, we thought that him coming into the team might bring a little bit more balance, a little bit more in terms of flexibility, and I think it definitely has. But I think it's definitely a case of underestimating his individual ability as well, because like, you put him in the bracket of having some of the best crosshair placement I've seen. Like, his read on the positioning at every single point in that round was perfect. Like, he knew where his opponent was going to be playing from. Very well played from Patman. Now even the ultimate's online for either side. Bye back. Patman under pressure this time. They managed to deal with one of the menaces, but of course there's still 4 more.
Forsaken.
Where is he going?
On that A side. This is not going to be expected. But Zekken goes back and clears his angles correctly. He's going to feel like he's been handed
That's the B-side open.
That was a 4v4, and he's solo defending B-side. Now that's forced the A push out. Sentinel's punishing it. And this is, I guess, the danger for Paperix when they feel confident. The overheat, it almost feels like it's just a chicane away, and that corner has been rounded.
Alrighty. Leaving it down to just 1. It still seems like they're questioning where to go. Orb up, but it's a nice shot from Narate, continuing at least his individual form. Another 3K to bring them around. But yeah, I think a lot of that was just not realizing that Zekken was behind, and then the rest of the team seeing Zekken on that side of the map just went, okay, they've just killed off our one player. By this point, they will have realized, so let's go running up. And it's the patience of Sentinels that ends up working out for them. I wouldn't be surprised if that was something that was mentioned by the coaching staff is, okay, guys, like, they are pushing us all across the map. They are taking these aggressive fights. Let's be a bit more patient. Again, no ultimates really utilized in the last round. They are still here for this one.
I think Narate's got more kills than the rest of the team combined. He is putting up one hell of a show, considering how labored this effort has been. That spray almost took Zekken out. His HP will recover a decent bit, but it was down to a sliver there. Patman being robbed of that pick, but certainly not robbed of his map control, even as an alarm bot to cover that left side. So this B site basically fully locked down at this point with a turret covering the walkthrough on tube. I don't think Sentinels have much of a choice, but it looks like they do still want to split, get behind that pit.
That's the idea. It's definitely something Paperix are aware of, though. The spam through the orb has done a lot of damage, and well, it's only going to get worse. Nice trade, though, from Bank. Will at least keep things even, and more importantly, give them a little bit of extra space to play with. Divide is trying to cover that lockdown news to try and force Patman out of the pit, but they still have to deal with the rest of the players. Another trade, but they are having to try and walk through this, and Patman has just fallen back, waiting on the corner. As said, his read, his placement on where opponents have been has been bang on every single time. And even making the realization of where Narate is going to be. These have been the 2 players to watch, and Narate will come out on top. 25 seconds left, though. He's being flanked. Also, the cross being held by the operator. It's not going to be easy for him, but he still expects it. Playing fantastically well, but this time he can't win the fight versus Jing. It does feel like at times a one-man show, shown. Unfortunately, this time Narrate couldn't drag it over the line.
Yeah, man, your heart goes out to him there. I mean, he is putting everything on the line. What a read as well, expecting that flank to come around. Of course, the turret had been broken as the ult was in play. So he had some suspicion, played off it perfectly. The shot not landing. They got through the pit eventually, but you see there the dangers. The idea being to go up through the tube, destroy the Killjoy utility, rob them of some information, and then force a player back as they wrap and eliminate him falling out of the pit. But they didn't expect so many players to be focused on that mid-angle, and something, he's got one, and he's gone.
And they've got to be careful. They don't really want to chase this guy up because there's always a second layer. Jing's going to manage to dodge, but it's actually another to be caught. The fact is, though, it's another time where Forsaken is still aggressive. Narrate will try as he might, but once more, it is a slaughter on the A site. They are getting, well, destroyed at this stage of the match. 8-2.
Yeah, you said about a second layer, and then you saw the third be peeled back. It's got to feel frustrating for Sentinels there. You obviously try to take the space early, get deleted by the op. You put through an ult to try to deal with that. Jing's there. Okay, he's fallen back. Should be good to take the space. In goes Forsaken. And it doesn't get much better when Patman turns up to the show. It's just so much to contend with. A lot of information in that late round because of the utility that's down for Divide, the reliance on him solo holding parts of the map. And Jing, he's just gone in, destroyed the turret, and then given the op setup back in for more. That's outrageous from something. They are deleting Sentinels' hopes, dreams, and the morale. Gotta be in the bin right now for the attackers.
You might as well set up the key on the Crusher, because there's only one team in the server at the moment. I mean, maybe you can say 6 players. It really has been a decimation. And yeah, I think something, he might only be 8-5, which, considering what we've been talking about him, that doesn't sound that great. I think nearly all of those are opening jewels. Like, he's just taking the fights versus opposition. The only way he doesn't get the opening jewel is if somebody else gets there first.
There's always hope for that second half turnaround. There's always hope for map 2, but right now, Tom, I'm not seeing it. And I don't think Sentinels are either. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, a pause at this stage, 9-2, you're 1 round left in the half. Is it even worth it? Maybe just to correct the mental. I don't know when it will be deployed, but they're running out of runway here on that attack. And especially seeing such an early freeze call from Sentinels into a save, that because there's no opportunities being granted, nothing being gifted. They'll save the rifles that they have at least for the next. But right now, it doesn't look like PaperX can put a foot wrong. Like the round that they lose of the overheat over on B, you can see why.
10 seconds
sure,
left.
Something might not hit it every single time, but 90% is good enough.
Yeah, this kill really doesn't mean too much. It's extra 80%. Orbs. But that'll be about it. The most important thing for Sentinels is to hold on to the weapons. I'm actually surprised PaperX don't throw more into the win there. They've got so many credits. Like, most of these rounds have been clean. It's not like it would have mattered. I guess the only thing would be you don't want to give the operator or the orbs. Like, those are the couple of things that could make a difference. But he's just lightning fast. As I said at the beginning, when you see some of the highlights of something, this is the map for me that springs to mind. I mentioned the Blade Sword, but realistically, his operator, when it's on, it just feels like there's nothing you can do. And then just look at the scoreboard. Every single member of their squad is having a great game. Guess where he is? But they've guessed. They put the drone in to get rid of him. Yeah, or at least try.
Burn that utility early to get rid. You said Narrate, it's still true. He's got more kills than the rest of the team.
That spam almost killed Celsius, by the way.
It's not the first time either. He's been caught a couple of times on the cross on mid, now on the B side. Out goes the op, shot doesn't land. Defy goes down, Blade Storm activated, and that doesn't hit either. This has got to be the best chance that Sentinels have had, but they still haven't dealt with Patman. He's been so good when the pressure is put on him. Ooh. But it looks like we might have a little change in direction. The A side wide open.
That's a good call if they do fall back. They've heard the TP be activated, but of course it could have been cancelled. I don't mind this from Sentinels. Grinding to a halt. We saw this last time when they managed to finally get the advantage. It was the patience that ended up paying off, but honestly, with how Forsaken has been playing when he's just in slight off angles, I really don't mind it. Like, just let him try and hold on to this site. I wouldn't even be surprised if he ends up with a couple.
30 seconds
but
left.
If Sentinels can get this site, they've got the Viper's Pit ready and raring to go.
The ode to spam back through, but Forsaken would need to get out. He's been in aggressive positions, hiding in corners, now out in the open. They're pressuring.
Nice.
Zekin lands it. Beautifully done, as the A side is now theirs. The pick can go down for Bang, and with 12 seconds left, it's more than enough to get this plant in. Nothing that Paper X can hope to do to deny. And fighting back into that pit, I mean, you saw the struggles Sentinels had over towards the B site, dealing with Patman. Paranoia doesn't even land. Zekin should be free. Oh, he's been deleted! Patman, luckily, is put in the grave right afterwards.
Oh, it's been a rough day at the office, hasn't it? Jing, it's not really any opportunity for him to take it, so it will at least be a curse. Divine mentioned it on day one, he'd love a 9-3 just to get the curse on his side, but, well, 9-3 domination, that's what we've had in half number one. We'll see if Sen can bring it back after the break.
Remaining. Spike down B.
Against Paper X, but Divide doesn't look too shaken down on that stage. It's been all smiles for what was the defensive side, but a few sparks of hope scattered throughout a sea of despair for Sentinels. Now they move to their defensive side, and sure, this isn't their map pick, and this is somewhere we even came in saying Paper X clearly favored on this map. But if it's a blowout, then we throw into question how Sunset will go, and if Sentinels will be seeing their key crushed before long.
Yeah, the worry as well as you go back to their performances on this map at Masters Toronto, and it was that defensive side the Sentinels struggled on. So it's definitely not good signs on map number one, but maybe they can get something started here. The positives, Nurate was the highest ACS player in that first half. It was one of the main reasons they even delivered the 3 rounds they did, is Zelsis to look for that early fight. It's not pretty at all, and Devi again! His sheriff's in the pistol rounds. It was 3 in the last. Well, he's already got 2/3 of that.
I'll tell you what, with what he said about BBL, I think they'll be pretty happy watching this spot back. For Sentinels, it's a shaky start, but it's not over just yet. The pistol round will give them so much more hope. That's an audacious play. The rate's been good, but only one to be found. Damage done. But a lot of that is decay, and it comes right back online. Something healthy, Forsaken swinging, and it's left onto Zekin. A sheriff in hand, but that will give him a one-shot body shot on something. Everyone else, especially for him to have a chance of the 1v3, he'll need to be clean and precise. Shots to the head.
I think he heard the steps. He at least knows as a player towards spawn, so he's going to go looking. It's not pretty, though. That needed to be a lot cleaner if he was going to have a chance in that clutch, and it was anything but. 10-3. That should be the map locked in. I think even if they had managed to win the pistol, it felt doubtful for Sentinels, but wow. This guy in pistols. He just seems to enjoy any brawly battle with the Sheriff.
A fight.
And I didn't even realize that it was Forsaken just spamming through the orb that ends up finishing off Narrate.
I think this might be like Serena GC, just Sentinel sat on the stage in between maps, getting that aim training going, because they've not been hitting so far. And like, there's been rounds where Paper X just overwhelmed them, but equally there's been rounds where they have those opportunities and the shots just do not land. One man who has been reliable, as you said, Narrate, highest ACS in that first half for most of it. Get more kills than the whole team combined. Second, the right clicks are not kind, but Devi's gone down again. It's Narrate finding hope for Sentinels, even in these weaker rounds.
Well, one positive for Paper X is they haven't lost themselves a weapon yet. There isn't anything other than that Sheriff that was bought by Narrate that can try and pad that gap. But they have faked this out. I like the idea. You see this quite often where a team thinks they're running into a stack, they fall back, and of course for Sentinels they go, okay, we've got to take gambles. So they move the stack to the other side of the map. We'll leave Narrate alone. If he can even give an extra pick here, it would be nice. This time there was 3 rifles online for the side of Paper X. The problem is they're so far ahead that we're talking more about round wins rather than, okay, can you do some damage?
They might be in with a shot here. Already put it down to what was a 5v3. Jing lands one, but now the players will start coming out of heaven. Jing with another, as blinded up as he is. He's not being dealt with. Still drawing breath, leaves it onto something. Spike up top, and look at the wraparound. Great reposition. I don't think they'll expect this, thinking he's still behind that wall. Bang. He's cast an eye in the right direction, but he's looking away as something rounds the corner, and he doesn't expect that defuse to be stuck. He's now confirmed it isn't, and he will just play with the time. Easy peasy for Paper X now, with 11 rounds on the board. It looks like this map won't be on for much longer.
Yeah, it's a shame, because you take this round in isolation, and it's actually very good. They came in with barely anything. They were up against rifles, they only had pistols, and they got 4 kills. But when you're going up 11-3 down, it really doesn't matter anymore. Like, they needed to try and win that round if they were going to have a chance to turn this back. It's going to have to be a ludicrous string. And I'll be honest with you, Patman's been fantastic, but something has had so many moments that have just got to have broken the mental of the opposing side. Zekin's going to try and take a leap out of his book. I think he's already been seen. I think something knows he's there, and he's going to have to fall back. Doesn't take too much damage, at least. The attack, they've managed to force them all the way back to the site, and they are not committed in that direction whatsoever.
Patman's just waiting. Looks like John QT's going to give him the fight, but they'll give him the shot to the head as well. Returning lead in the other direction, and Paper X, they lose that opening duel. It is damn close. John QT was on 0 shield, just the regens, was on 5 HP. Needs Zelsis to hold strong or at least buy time, and that's exactly what the Nanos do.
Well, Timmy the turret has been revealed. Zelsis, however, has not. Still sat in the corner, and the swing alongside his teammate have given them another man advantage. Forsaken will turn the tide, but they're being flanked on. They managed to get past that turret, and it seems like Devi is completely unaware that they have lost that much control, though he is having a little look, not seeing the players. That will be the moment, though. Bang, managing to take one down. Devi needs to do well here. Jing has gone alongside him. And now Bang is all that's left, but Devi, with players in front of him, just seems to decimate. It's 12-3. What looked like, finally, an opportunity for Sentinels has again been a death-dealing blow from Paper X.
I can't believe they won that round. Devi, it did look like for a moment, didn't think about the flank.
Yeah.
I don't know if he heard the smoke or just suspected it, but his turret didn't catch them on the cross, yet still he turns just in time. They're suspicious, they're ready, and they win all of the fights from that point. And that really feels like what we've seen throughout this entire map. And that's nothing to do with the battleground itself, it's to do with the players. Look at that, Zekin's clearing it. Devi's looking up top initially and just gets the pick and then finishes off Bang as well. For Sentinels, they did everything right there. They made the right plays. The timing maybe could have been better, but without them making steps, they couldn't have gotten there faster. And a timeout as their opponents are about to cross the finish line. I don't know that they can be the ones to wield their fate here as a weapon. I think that they have to hope that Paper X stall out.
Well, there was once a small British man that took a pause at 11-3 down.
Time out.
Kaplan is trying to beat that by one. Unfortunately, the small British man is now working with the team on the other side of the stage. So it's a difficult thing to try and come back from. Look, I rate Kaplan, but this might be a bridge too far. Especially with the weaponry not being the best. They've spotted at least one player, and already it's not looking good. Narrate gone, Bang gone. Maybe Kaplan said just lose at this point. Move on to the next map. Oh, getting slammed! It is style points for Paper X. Well, Zelsis and Timmy. Why is Patman still watching this? Why does he know that he's still there? 13-3, Paper X have put on a clinic in map #1. And well, it was their choice at least, but they need a serious reset in the Sentinels camp.
Well,
over the last few times, obviously versus DRX, they absolutely battered. So still feeling confident in their own map and in their own choice. We've seen them play, again, at Masters, where they had a very good performance versus the likes of Fnatic, XOG, BLG, but they've definitely had some blips here, like losing to XOG earlier in the tournament. But as I said on the last map, they normally learn from those sort of mistakes. It wasn't the case there, and I do think that a lot of it comes down to just getting those players online. Like, we know what we normally expect to see from someone like Zek and what we normally expect to see from Bang. So I think the fact that it was only Narrate is definitely a worry. But if he can keep the same form and you get a couple of others, we have a game on our hands. If not, we could see the repeat, because hey, you've gone to the other side. As said, over the last few months, it's 5-0 for the side of Paper X on this map, and we're talking good opposition. We're talking beating Fnatic, beating Sentinels, beating Liquid, beating DRX. Like, these are all top-tier opposition that they are managing to get past. So I think they're going to come into this one feeling incredibly confident, and it's up to Sentinels to prove that, okay, we picked this map for a reason.
Well, one thing that might be a little easier to deal with now is without something being on that quick escape agent, he can't get as aggressive as he did in that previous map, because he was winning opening duels and getting out majority of the time.
But what is the alternative?
Yeah,
it's Jing on rank.
It is Jing.
It's not better, is it? It's not that much better. If anything, it's worse.
If anything, he won't get one and get away. He'll just go straight through your team, take 3 or 4.
But that's always the thing with them on this map. Obviously, they're starting out on the attack, but their defensive pushes are genuinely disrespectful. And a lot of it, I was going to say, revolves around middle. It seems like they've got the same idea on the attack.
Tends to be the case. Get your priority zone down and lock it regardless of the side. Sentinels straight through B main as a response. They take space. The right point of contact. Big swing, but it's expected. They were ready for that. And now there's a paranoia in response. Shock dart up close. Zekin barely makes it out. Luckily, he's quick on his feet, but Narrate can't quite get out to meet him. They need to take this battle at least until Narrate falls. Then Zekin has the choice to fall back, but he goes back in for another bite. In fact, once more! And that could be the big mistake. An overheat with Patman dropping him. We're back to a 2v2. Decent damage done. No shields on the other side. A headshot will be enough from these Paper X players, and so far they have been the ones, especially Patman and Forsaken, reliable in these sort of scenarios.
They are a little bit more tagged. Zekin did well, taking 3. Now the reset comes in, but Zelsis has been reclaiming that space. He's going to get a lot of information for John QT to start the rotation back over to the other side. 30 seconds left.
30 seconds left.
Not close enough to hear those steps. They will be making their way in towards that site eventually. There is going to be that realization. That's when they start putting on the heater to try and catch up that little bit more. It will be the after plant for Paper X.
Nice open plan too. You have to worry about everything here over towards elbow. And for the re-clear from Zelsis, you know, he's the one that has the pressure. Has to clear a 50-50 angle. Steps made, they've heard him. They won't be giving him the chance to take him down for free. Hiding from the camera too. There's the shot from Patman. They know where 1 is. They haven't got the info in the second, and now they do, but look how quickly it crumbles. The round win for Paper X. The lead early on here on Sunset.
Yeah, I guess the one sort of glimmer of hope is the fact that we are seeing a little bit more from Zekken, managing to get 3 kills in that round, a lot of it of his own individual ability. But yeah, as you said at the time, and it seemed like they had a solid read on what was going to be attempted. They went aggressively into middle, maybe expecting that, okay, it's either going to be mid-aggression or it's going to be this aggression over on the B side of the map. So once they spotted nothing in mid, it was an immediate reapproach to that B side. They're looking like the same again. Jing, okay, that is so bold. He's just gone running through the smoke. We sort of mentioned it. Is it better or worse having Jing pushing you as a raise? Oh, sure, it's only a low buy, so I guess this round doesn't matter too much, but I think there's plenty more to come.
Well, I think you can read into that. If that's what he does against a low buy with one of the 2 rifles that they have to play with, what's he going to be like when they've got weapons on the other side? When that risk isn't as audacious to make, and this is the problem, man. You look at that first map, and there were a lot of fights like that. A guy pushing through a smoke, an angle you're holding. It's not like he's on the left or the right. It's a narrow little walkway, and they lose the fight. And this has been, well, okay, they could lose the fight. Shields and whatnot.
Yeah.
Not even a shot landed. That's a terrible sign.
Enemy remaining.
Well, it's in a round that was ultimately over. Doesn't matter too much. Scoreboard looking fairly similar to the last map, at least for now, just with a different player on it. But this is where things should get interesting. Of course, for PaperX, not really taking any damage in the previous round. It means they'll have rifles alongside a singular stinger.
Scanning ahead.
Turn to the ults. Nobody particularly close, and while Zekken this time is going to have a decent read. Okay, they're going to try and push us. They're going to try and disrespect us. I'll give a little bit of spam to that smoke, and they'll have the man advantage for it.
It's an interesting trap wire they've put down. It's going to allow PaperX to potentially push through mid and go to that left side, wrap around to B. Maybe just avoiding that early shock dart you'll often see thrown through. You that little bit of information on the A wrap. Doesn't mean someone has to keep holding it. Those players in market are always at risk of being wrapped. At least what we can see, that's not going to be the case. PaperX running into a 3-man stack up. It's a direct approach, and what Zekken is easily dealing with. We already mentioned one player on the board for Sentinels, similar to the last map, and not much has changed. The rate might be about to add 1 to the tally, I say. Forsaken drops it, but the 1v4 is not to be.
Yeah, it's not going to be the ace this time, but that's exactly what you want to see from someone like Zekken. Stepping up into the game. Mentioned in the last map, his quietness was uncharacteristic. He's been someone that has been so enjoyable to watch at internationals and, of course, in North America. And back on the Neon, he is looking incredibly comfortable. A lot of awkward fights to be taken, but he wins the lot.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Come on, come on.
And now, at least on a map that we know they're a lot more comfortable on than the last. Hoping this will be the start of something, of course, for PaperX. They will be able to get another purchase. That was their bonus round. But the fact that Sen kept it relatively clean is a good sign.
Oh, they felt out the space. Trap seen, and it's Zekken. Caught on the rotation.
Not the guy you want to lose.
He did exactly the same in the previous round, that pathing. I'm not even sure PaperX read into it. Just right place, right time, and a good shot onto John QT. Your breach is down, your B side a bit more vulnerable, and the A side push up as a response. Sentinels want some space, but they hear them come back. The drone goes in, the right swings wide, but he's only good for 1 bang. It could be a surprise as he goes deep, but he is not getting anything for his trouble, nor is anyone else on Sentinels. That is a great resurgence for PaperX, and again, you go back to that previous map, not much has changed in that regard.
No, it's swapped who the player is, but the second Zekken was dead, everything came crumbling down. And while that trip was something that ended up being his demise, the fact that they can get him without really any information being had for him. Of course, for PaperX, this is looking like a great day so far. 3-1 up on that attack side. Of course, it's a map that they've been solid on either side, but when they played against Sentinels, they ended up with an 8-4 defensive half. I'm not going to pretend like between these two teams it's going to be identical, but if this ends up anywhere near as dominant as the last map, it's not like we're expecting a change on the other side.
The wall is up, locking Bang out of any real control. They're going to drop that and look for the fight. Bang goes down immediately, and now what? What comes from this? Showstopper on its way, but Narrate has managed to thread the needle. He's behind them, and he's missed the shots! The Showstopper lurking, he has to go back into the heavy pack, and Forsaken is the one waiting for him. He was between a rock and a hard place there, but he had to hit those first shots. That's where it all comes crumbling.
He's seen it.
Oh, he's running into the bookie. That could be a pick for Zekin at least, but he gets nothing on the follow-up.
Yeah, they know that Zelsis is there as well.
This is
Paper
X.
The Paper X wall is always something they love to put into play, but let's be real, there isn't even going to be an attempt at this retake. The round felt done the moment they lost those first couple of opening picks, and sure, the kill on Bang, it just felt like Divide just won that 1v1 outright, even if the angle seemed favored. But the second one, yeah, it was just an uncharacteristic whiff from Narrate. The stun just being held because they know they're going to be pressured. They have the trip holding, so the second that is broken, the stun's going to be used just to try and make sure they can hold on to these guns, at least bring something through to the next round. But Paper X, they are starting to run away with this one again, 4-1, and the credit's already booming.
Yep, as we said, it does seem like not much has changed. 8 kills for Zek and 2 for the rest of the squad. A new hero, but the same tragic storyline for Sentinels. This is what we feared. If Icebox was close, if there was a heartbeat there, then perhaps they'd be able to carry through some momentum. Perhaps we could believe in the counterplay, the VOD analysis working out in their favor, but you give Paper X a 13-3, you move to a map where they're not only comfortable but dominant. But it doesn't look too likely you'll be able to break the mold. But for Sentinels, a timeout early on. 4-1 down, it's not too late to grab a hold of those reins, snatch them from the hands of Paper X. From what we've seen so far, Tom, it looks like they may need a miracle.
Yeah, and they are getting to the stage where I was talking about them waking up, might be too little too late. Like, it just seems like today, Paper X have got their number. I like the pause timing though, a little bit earlier than last time out. Clearly realizing that the same trend is beginning. And while we've always talked about Alex and the danger of tables, I'd be wasted reinforcement at this point if they'd actually put the extra time into keeping those desks safe, because he hasn't had a reason to get frustrated in this game so far. It has been incredibly one-sided. Well, it seems like, at least for the side of Sentinels. Now going to be going into the danger, man. Second, though, it is the dive across from Jing. He sells his life to give them the opener. Now a plant here, but guess what? It would bring him right back.
Spike planted.
Secured, but the wall's broken. Someone has to be holding that.
You will not kill my ally.
You got to expect the swing to come through.
Where are you?
Got to expect that spray on the body, but they don't get him. They're blocked out of any real control there. Okay, he's right back in play. Man advantage extends even further. TP through the smoke. Getting aggressive is Forsaken as John QT tries his best.
Remaining.
Bang has an idea, but he didn't know that Forsaken slipped past him with that shrouded step, and that secures the round. A disaster again for Sentinels. It looked like they had a real shot at that one.
Wait, I'll say, like, that was a split second from Bang getting that spot on. Like, he looks back to check the smoke, but then obviously there's a million other angles that he's got to be keeping an eye on, so just can't quite catch him at the end. Man, this is the sort of moment we talk about where Jing is happy to sell himself so that they can get the trade, and then when you're one off that res, well, especially after Divide gets the kill, it gives them that extra advantage. 5-1. It's a close round. It's a round that very nearly could have gone Sentinel's way, but it's another that is added to the tally. Only 3 rounds granted in the last map. If Sentinels are going to keep themselves in this tournament, it needs to be now.
Now or probably never. B-side already overrun. Spike hasn't gone with, so players still need to cross. Full mid control for Sentinels as well. They're playing this one slow. Shouldn't see an overcommit towards that B-side. They know that it has to be the retake. They've cleared out so much space. Patman is the danger man. Hunter's Fury. That's going to delay them. That's going to send them back towards mid. It's going to allow Patman to come behind, but he loses the fight. He didn't expect them to still be so deep in towards tiles. That is a lifeline for Sentinels, avoiding that backstab. And look at PaperX. They push spawn, and they're wrapping Divide back around. They shouldn't expect the second flanker. It's all down to timing, but they've closed the door.
Last player standing.
The problem now is just the time. Divide, the spike is somewhat planted for him, and they don't have a clue where he is, but he's already being diffused under the smoke. The player's low, but he hasn't managed to land the shots. They are just sticking it under his nose. There was too much to be had in this round, and it's Bang to be the hero. 3 for him in this one. But more importantly, I think it was the call. You could see where PaperX go into that site. There's a level of confusion. They're going, okay, we haven't spotted nearly enough for this to be a proper B defense, so let's try and make a move. And while it did come down to incredibly slim margins with Patman finally realizing what's going on, but it did enough this time.
It's got to be frustrating for Patman. It's the knife out shift walk. You save a little bit of time, but the cost paid there is massive. That said, the way PaperX played that was really nice. They don't have the information, and so they adjust. They go Hunter's Fury, they go pushing through mid. It almost set them up for a round win, but it's given Sentinels a foot in the door, and Bang is closing it shut on PaperX in this round. A double opener, and the attackers left in a 2 versus 5. At this point, especially look at the control that they've lost with Zekin pushed up alongside Zalsis. It's a Hail Mary jump past the smoke, and okay, something. He's got 3 now. This is getting a little bit concerning. Zekin should have him. He's seen the barrel. It's an easy closer. That did get a little bit scary.
Yeah, something's definitely been on today, but it's good to see Rob Moore in the crowd. Like, it's not many CEOs that you're going to see at the heart of the fan base, but he's definitely pumped up. He's getting the fans rolling, and it's exciting to see this team have some moments. Bang, back-to-back rounds. But he's showing the individual brilliance we know that he has. Still, though, there's a moment where something seems like he could have turned that into a 1 versus 5, which I think would have been the nail in the coffin. Even still, Sentinels now within just 2. The economy still hasn't been broken yet, though, of PaperX. And while with a showstopper, a Viper's Pit, and that Hunter's Fury not far off, this is still a dangerous place for Sentinels to be.
Oh, it just got a little worse. Narrate down. It's not your mid control completely gone. Still a trap and still 2 players around that angle, but the A side is much, much lighter in defense. Patman's been pushing up. He sees nothing here. Nobody looking to fight, and a one-way smoke put down on short. I think he's starting to guess at elbow being open, and with the control Sentinels have towards B main, they may go for a flank. They may even get there before that push comes in on the A side, but the question is, can Bang survive? And he's repositioned, so this showstopper won't find him easily.
Yeah, the problem is this is one of the few rounds where you really can't give up the fight unless they decide not to use the Viper's Pit. Because you're basically allowing them, to be in a position where they have so much of this backside control. Getting into this corner is going to be difficult, and even leaves a little gap for Patman to hide in. They're delayed getting back into the site as well because of that Sage will use to slow them down, and guess what? There's extra slows as well to try and use. Zek is going to try and get ahead of it, but he fails miserably.
He stuns one and thinks that can be the difference maker, but Devi was there to cover. These players outside the pit taking the fights, using Patman as a fallback. And I think that same word just uttered within the Sentinels comms. They're trying to fall back, but they're being boxed in by something. Bang is stuck in a corner with nowhere to run, flanked out on both sides. And these weapons, they attempted to save. And although Zelsis will get 1, although he'll get 2, he's got players in the spawn. He needs to run far and fast.
He's running towards.
Yeah, this is a bit of a risk. This could get spooky, but I think he's good.
Yeah, he's just about able to save, but when that's the best part of the round, That's definitely not what you're looking for. That's the problem. That opening pick from Jing, it is kind of crazy. Like, you look at the guy who has the showstopper, the guy that can get you into a site, just swings. Just takes a raw fight versus the player up mid. But then, yeah, when you have a showstopper and a Viper's Pit, it's such a difficult couple of vaults to play against, because you basically are forced to play retake against something that is so difficult to play into. And the second they get that spike down, you can already see the moves of PaperX to box these players in. It's a second tactical pause already in the first half for Sentinels. They know that they are hemorrhaging right now, and they are getting ever closer to being out of this tournament.
They are just running out of time at this point. They need to find answers, and so far, they've been able to get a round, maybe 2 on the board. Even then, look back. If Patman has his weapon out in the second round that Sentinels found, that's a completely different flavor.
Yeah, who knows?
He probably gets 2. The round flips. We see an even bigger lead. Then, a potential 1v5. It was damn close for something. It was a 1v2 in the end. I mean, look at how they close out a 5v2 is more the thing. For PaperX, when they win rounds, it's dominant, it's convincing. For Sentinels, even when they get the 5v2, it still feels like there's hope for PaperX, and that's very concerning.
Well, they come into this one still
ahead
with a purchase onto the board. Rolling thunder for John QT, but it seems like Jing's just run it down. Look how much space he's already got. Narrate is completely unaware of how much has already been taken. And the back doesn't know either.
He heard him blast
These are just fumbles from the side of Sentinels. This wasn't even the goal. There was no plan for PaperX to even take the A site. It was send Jing in and see what he could do. Mentioned it in round number 2. This guy will disrespect your utility. He will do things you do not expect. But add in some mistakes for Sentinels, and hey, it doesn't get much easier than that.
Oh, I like the Forsaken TP to pull them back off the angle, but Jing taking the space like that is ludicrous. Zekin needs a big play in this court. They might have just seen him. They might have seen him backing around, and now they certainly have. Good luck to Zekin getting out of there. A firing squad waiting, and everyone hits their shots. Again, a 5 versus 2, and it comes off the back of an Omen ult and a blast, well, 2 blast packs, I suppose. The second, I don't know how bang. I guess he mustn't have heard it. That's a big mistake. And then look into the next round. You're gonna have Devi, most likely with a res online, whether it's by Orb. Certainly won't be by Exakill here with how far away Sentinels are, or by Plant. And not only that, the Hunter's Fury is there too.
Well, yeah, we saw it before when he was close. They just send Jing in to almost sacrifice himself. My only assumption is that when Jing last took the A site with the showstopper, he gets that opener and then he takes site control. So I guess Bang's logic there is they're going to smoke or wall this and I'll be up above. It ends up being an oversight just off. Probably most players don't do that, but you're not up against most players. You're up against Jing. And you have to be so aware of what this man can do. The hunt is still on. Well, Zelsis is the one to take the majority of damage. Ultimately, the gun is saved. So those buys are not getting any better. But yeah, you could tell that there was no thought in Narrate's mind of how much space had already been lost. Wow, no thought in Bang's mind that he might have got that close.
Yeah, it's difficult.
It's the duality of man.
It's difficult for Narrate there, man, because like he's had that pick, he got picked off on mid, then here he's left with the responsibility as John QT goes back to spawn to clear elbow and deal with Jing's push up Zekin.
Okay.
That's what they needed. A double opener, the spike in their possession as well. Forsaken used his ult in the previous, so no easy way to pick that back. But even as they go to deal with that problem, Patman is looking to create more issues for Sentinels pushing up through middle. Luckily, Zelsis is there to wait for it. And it looks like at least 4 on the board at the halftime for Sentinels. A chance to bring this down to a gap of just 2 and a decent recovery on what could be a much more dominant half.
You know, when they played versus DRX, their attack side was fantastic. With someone like Zekin online, you put this man into position, you at least have yourself a chance. Forsaken is trying to bait out some of the angles here. Of course, they have the finances to throw everything into the wind, but finally, coming towards the end of the half, we're going to see Sentinels have themselves a cleaner round. Now a 7-5 really not a death sentence whatsoever, even if some of the rounds have been a little bit worrying for them. With Zekken online, putting him onto the attack.
Supply destroyed.
There's definitely still opportunities here, but I do feel like they need that last round.
Bridging the gap here, where the Res and the Hunter's Fury is online for PaperX, where a more direct approach is going to be the name of the game. They saw that B main push in the previous. Orb taken by Jing, and he's now just one away from another showstopper. 3 big ultimates to play from.
Spike drop.
Play with. It will be the spike given to him to ensure that's the case. This will be a very difficult retake for Sentinels.
Planted.
They have the Rolling Thunder.
Showstopper actually going to be used early, and that now makes this a little bit tougher. Through the Rolling Thunder they go, and actually the Showstopper doesn't land. A good opportunity here, walled off. Divide just looking to keep himself safe at the back, but he's been caught by Narrate, giving them a man advantage, but still lots to deal with. The snake bite should buy them a little bit of extra time. They can't get that defusal in just yet, and that will mean the smoke has faded. A shot from Patman, but it's left all onto something once again. The first goes his way. John QT has to let go, and he will not be able to. This time only 2 to deal with, and something does just that.
PaperX, another big lead at the halftime. Now they just need to get it across the line here. To send Sentinels out to crush their key. We'll find out if we've got map 3 after the break. Welcome back, folks. 8 rounds on the board for PaperX after a 13-3 decimation on Icebox. It seems like Sentinels have come in cold to map number 2, but now is their chance moving to the attack side. With Zekken activated, this could be the bounce back for them, and they certainly will hope so. Lotus will be the decider, but quite the road for Sentinels to get themselves there.
Yeah, of course, the hope is based off their previous performance versus DRX, but of course, in their previous performance versus this PaperX side, it was the defensive side where both teams managed to get the majority of their rounds. So we'll have to see if they have found the answer to what is that PaperX defense. They are very comfortable on this map. As said, last few months it has been 5-0 for PaperX. They are looking to make that 6 and send themselves through to the semi-finals. More importantly, crush the key of set. But a good start. Zekken on the attack. This is the man we're watching.
The man to watch most definitely. He's already got 2. He's living up to what was promised. The shock dart doesn't even get fired away. And a bit of damage on Zelsis can be overlooked as Patman is all alone. They know he's coming, and he'll only get the one. A pistol round that was necessary for Sentinels to start this climb back.
Yeah, for sure. And as I said, although it's good when the rate is popping off alongside, I think that when you have this man leading from the front on the attack, if you can get Zekken online, sometimes that is enough. Obviously, versus PaperX, it's a very difficult thing to rely on a single guy to take you over the line, but you will have seen the stats at the halftime. Like, he was by far and away the best player in this server, even in the first half. Being the tip of the spear. Look at him, 17 and 9. Currently 3 rounds behind. Of course, for PaperX, just a couple of pistols thrown in. They still have the majority of their utility. It's whether or not they'll expend it.
Well, A main's been cleared out. PaperX have an idea about this mid play. 4 of them towards the top of mid. And it's the B main push up for Patman that gets them all that intel. But when Sentinels don't make a move, they go pushing on in. This is exactly what Sentinels wanted. They were waiting patiently for a misplay, for a bit of aggression. They come in quickly with the punish. 4 versus 1, not a chance. That is another solid sign of the climb back. We don't want to see hiccups in what should be easy rounds. Now the gap closes.
Yeah, it's important that they don't give anything to PaperX if this comeback is going to become a reality. Of course, this is where the current Masters champions are going to get their buy back onto the board. And the thing is with this composition is it can be incredibly awkward to play against. Mentioned it before, they like to lock off one portion of the map and then a lot of the time aggress alongside it. That mid push already coming in from Jing. It's something I mentioned, and I like the pacey hit being attempted, but Zekken already going down. Definitely not the start they were looking for.
Okay, Narrate does very well here. If they win this low buy round, you really start to believe. Bang with a double as well. And now Sentinels only have to deal with Patman, but he's isolated one, and the wall lets him know where the other player's coming from. The steps heard, and it's Zelsis on the other side. Patman strikes first, and PaperX win the round ultimately, but a great sign from Sentinels yet again with huge damage dealt.
Do we just have a Rob cam? Is that what's going on? I feel like he's got his own camera at this stage just to get his live reaction to this. But no, yeah, a nice attempt. Like, I think Narrate especially doing very well in the early stages of this round, being able to bait the plant to get them these fights. But that's the strength of Patman. Like, he has so much to his game, be it the read of it, be it the clutches, or be it the flexibility. Here's a player that I'm sure many teams are going to regret they didn't go for before he ended up on PaperX, because I imagine that contract is strong. Of course, that was the bonus, though. Send right back on the horse.
Yes, this is where they can bounce right back. They left it down to one player. Looking at this happen in isolation, that's where you start to believe in Sentinels! Zekken! He's got himself 2, and Patman's dealt with as well. This is perfect. Devi being alive with a res could have been disastrous. Jing. Oh, that nade's done damage. The showstopper fired in, gets Zekken. He's the last man standing, but he will be dropped by Narrate. And Sentinels, the gap to 2 again. The rifle round going their way. The low by very nearly. This is looking like their half.
Yeah, if anything, that might end up being worse for PaperX. It's going to put them in a hole in terms of economy. Of course, they spent everything. I have no idea what has happened there for Devi. Obviously stunned up a bit, but you'd still expect him with the amount of time he had to correct. But it seems like Zekken
Flash, I mean, that
has got away with it there. While being 20 and 12, the rate starting to show up as well. And as said, now back to the pistols. They got off to a stellar start on the attack.
These are rounds that you can't take for granted against PaperX, but take a look at the minimap. Sentinels have made the right call, gambled correctly towards this A site.
Face your fear!
Wide open, and they'll even confirm it as well. Sure, They get one towards mid. It's an upgraded weapon as well. That res is not likely to be used. Well, I forgot what team we're watching, I suppose. They've brought Forsaken back. They believe in this round with the rifle in their hand. Zekin looks to tear that hope down and narrates alongside him to shut it out. Paper Rex are done in this one. A res committed. In the previous, a showstopper as well. And a statement from Sentinels as they now put the rounds down to just one.
He's been gunning throughout the entirety of this map. He has been a completely different player to what we saw. Of course, the maximum amount of kills we've seen throughout this might be challenged going forward, because genuinely he has been a force to be reckoned with. And they're now starting to get themselves right back into this game. Of course, this is going to be that second purchase now for the side of PaperX. This is where they will hope to try and find a response. And in fact, it might be the first time that Alex's table comes under a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, it is certainly going to be in danger. Looks like max kills was 11 and Wisey tied up on 31, and you're dead right. Zekin's in with a chance to break that record here at EWC, at least in the LAN stage, not accounting for the qualifiers, of course. You can see Alex firing away the instructions to this squad. They had full control of the game, a strong lead, and 8-4. Devi would be delighted they didn't even get that 9th round. They didn't curse themselves, but it didn't seem to slow them down on Icebox. And here, it has led Sentinels to be just one behind. Again, the commitment in the previous round of the res really surprised me. 4 pistols, a rifle retrieved, and they say, screw it, we can win this. But that is PaperX, and they're not often wrong.
Cover going out.
We'll see if the pause can make a difference for Gaplin on the other side. Thus far this match, it hasn't seemed to, but are now walking up. The charge being led, Patman under serious pressure. We'll just be looking to try and survive at the back of this site. He's dealt with the Danger Man and goes looking for a little bit more. Already dealt with a Forsaken, just trying to make sure he stays alive here, which he will. Now has the support of the rest of the squad.
Nate's dangerous. John QT is going to be in a bit of trouble, has to step forward, but the smoke goes down in time. Forsaken drop, shock dart. The spams chasing Bang down as he eventually falls. The numbers are even. But Sentinels know there's a lot of numbers towards the spawn. If 2 eyes watching it, locked in on that position with Zelsis covering for this market wraparound. It's a good job too, because something is about to challenge. Clear the close corner, but he won't land his shot. And it's all Sentinels in the kill feed. 9-9, tied up, and the problems that we saw in that first map no longer present. They're firing back across the board.
Yeah, it's a more direct approach. Like just picking the site, having their execute, going for the walk-ups early, avoiding a lot of any early aggression that we've seen from the side of PaperX, and they've been putting a lot of pressure onto Patman. In the last map, that really did feel like their downfall. In this one, he's definitely struggling that little bit more, especially with the stuns that are coming through from John QT. Have definitely been making things very difficult for him to hold his ground. Of course, not having that traditional Sentinel on their side to slow down this Neon. This round, though, again, it's a bit of a stinker. A Bucky, Sheriffs, not a lot of shields. The only ultimate could really change it seems to be that Viper's Pit, but I would be surprised to see it come into play.
It has been a hard-fought battle so far. The problem here for Sentinels, if they do go for a B split, it looks like just pressure on top mid. Yeah, they're going through market. So many pistols here. The slow sends them the other way. They go deep in the spawn. Jing lands one. Nade goes through, stops them following up on that flash, but look at the space taken towards this A site. The spike now on its way to join them. Forsaken not able to hold with the classic, and they've avoided the main danger, which was if going through that market.
seems like Forsaken was completely unaware of how much ground had been lost. Narrate, he's tagged. That will be a gun, another for something as well. This is starting to fall apart. 3 rifles now in the hand, a Hunter's Fury as well. John QT, if he can get one, that's a Rolling Thunder, and it might just save them, but instead, Aftershock will be the start. Stun thrown in, but Jing has already gone flying past it, and that's banged down as well. It's now on to the IGL. They were looking for a chance to take the lead, but PaperX won't let them. It is going to be the Pistols. This is going to be an upset round, as PaperX will claim the lead once again.
That's got to be annoying for Bang, man. He had the right idea, the wraparound, the timing was good. Your Raze has just dove in, the others are hit by a stun, and the Raze isn't facing. That means that they've got to be about to flood the site. But of course, they send Jing in, possibly to his death, and just hold behind them, waiting for that to come through.
As well.
It's disastrous, and I think he made the right play, but the punish is there nonetheless. Double digits, 4 ultimates online for PaperX as well. Sentinels, luckily, they've got credits for days. There'll be no eco, there'll be no freebie for that defensive side.
Second, having that overdrive combination with a Rolling Thunder, it's a lot of space that can be garnered, but last time out, that Rolling Thunder was used into the showstopper. I'm sure Jing didn't hit it last time, but you'd somewhat bet on him to hit it. The walk up from Bang has just been caught. Patman playing outside the site this time, a switch up of positions and a nasty surprise for the Sentinel Smoker. That's definitely going to make their takes a lot harder with him going down this early on. Not a ton of information. Look at the lack of response as well from PaperX. You see one player outside A, especially your Fade on the other side, and they still have 3 players on that B side. They still have Jing playing towards the spawn. Because of the ultimates they have, the retake will be strong. Patman, 5v4. I see him going aggressive. I see him walking up at the wall. I get worried, but oh, the slide in catches him off guard. Hunter's Fury almost taking second down, but he dodges the blast. He won't dodge the shots from Jing as the site not quite overrun. Rolling Thunder not followed up on, but they've evened up the numbers at least. Showstopper now comes in, and it's fired onto Zelsis, leaving John QT alone. He'll be sent to join his team in the afterlife, 11-9. PaperX, they were caught up on, but it seems like Sentinels might have stalled out at the worst possible moment. Yeah, the problem is like losing your losing your smokes that early on is just always going to be difficult. You can't section off any of those angles. You have to basically be ready for absolutely everything. And while with the showstopper online, Zelsis didn't really stand a chance. And then it just comes down to trading effectively, which is exactly what they did. 2 rounds now from sending Sen home, crushing their key. They are not out just yet. They still have the weapons to play with, and Zakin, he's just not missing a beat. Another opening for him.
Devi really wanted that kill once he heard someone stepping on his ice. But look at the A side. Again, PaperX have the right reads. They've got players, boots on the ground where they need them. Sentinels have a choice to go back, but with no control, not even a trip on the other side of the map, and tiles locked down, as we can see, for Forsaken. They're going to have to run into this, not knowing the stack that's in play. Paranoia is good. Jing lands one, Cage goes up, but it doesn't give them the protection that they need. Jing's on the edge of that as Patman spams. Jing steps through, and Sentinels crumble under PaperX's grasp. One more needed to crush their key, to send them home.
This is the thing with PaperX is you're gonna sit there and you're gonna go, okay, we found the opener. We want to pause. We want to wait for them to get aggressive. But you wait for them to get aggressive, and even still, sometimes they win the fights. The setup of the Paranoia was sublime, but then the gap in the cage just made it all too easy for Jing to find that kill. And the second Patman starts stealing his frags. Jing's like, I'm not having that. Just goes running straight through. He's now 22-15. You said the worry might have diminished, and they're doing it again. We know all about this wall up. Bear in mind, Jing is stunned, and actually it's predicted. We've seen this one clipped so many times, but that was only the first piece of the puzzle. 2 traded. Sentinels still stand. They have got to be careful. They are being pushed from every single orifice, and even when a player is low HP, something's first bullet accuracy has been insane. Even still, they are still limping on. They don't know where Patman is. They don't know where that second player could be. They're having to check every single angle as they walk.
There it is. That's the step. That's the info.
They pinged it.
They know exactly where he is, where he was, at least. And that gives them the intel that these players are split. They know that something's being hit, but look at the reposition from something. This is a nasty angle.
Top mid.
He was top mid 10, 20 seconds ago. Now behind the box in B main. That's a huge risk with low HP to go pushing in. But the reward here, it could be the round, the game, and Sentinels sent home. They're trying to clear everything, but they don't check it. Something 4-piece to send Sentinels out. Paper Rex not here for a map or a series. They're looking for back-to-back international titles. And now one step closer over the corpse of the North American Sentinels.